Abstract Transmissions.
And welcome to Abstract Transmissions. Today we have Jessica Rainville, voice actress, as well as writer, producer, executive producer, voice actress, actor. It's 2019, guys.
Right? Director.
Yeah. Did I forget director? I did forget director.
But that's okay because you actually reminded me that I'm a director.
That's awesome. That's a huge thing because, I mean, I'm really excited to learn more about your podcast because I feel really poorly informed ahead of time because I'm just like, oh, we have a voice actor coming on. I'm like, this is going to be great. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I didn't do more research. I'm like, this is even better than I expected. So tell us about your podcast.
Well, it is an audio drama. So a little different, from what you do here because everything is completely scripted because it's an audio drama.
That's awesome.
You go back in the day to Archie. Yeah. That it's that.
Dramatizations.
Yes.
So it's kind of like they do audiobook dramatizations. They'll take them and like The Hobbit and turn it into not like an audiobook, but a dramatization.
Yes, exactly like
really
that.
Awesome.
So it's got, all the audio landscaping, so it sounds like you're there.
Cool. Nice.
I did not edit any of the audio landscaping. I just have to get that part out of the way right now. I cannot take credit for the editing. I helped split some lines, and that is it.
That's awesome.
Every single line in the podcast itself has to be its own file.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, like imagine if, you had to take every single line that we say and make it its own file.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking work.
I know. Yeah, no, I can't imagine. That's like because we have one line that's specifically for our theme song, which was a project file. Because we had to make multiple tracks and the multiple drum tracks and Justin's guitar parts and that whole thing, putting it together, squeezing it together. So at the beginning, it shows as an initial file just for that. But I can't imagine having to do that per each individual soundtrack. That's very, very impressive.
So
kudos to them for that work.
So that was
awesome.
Rick Coast from Modern Audio Drama. He also does like Coast Media, Coast Audio. Like he has like a whole bunch of things that he does. He does web design. Like he's a jack of all trades in the media world. He also writes and produces audio dramas too, which is how I met him because he cast me in one of his audio dramas and then loved me so much, cast me in another.
That's fantastic.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's how like voice acting basically works now. You don't have to have an agent. Like, you just start working with people, and the next thing you know, they love you, and you build a relationship. Exactly. And
it's huge.
I mean, I have an agent, but I do, the agent gets, 15, 20%. You have to do the other 80.
Right.
That
makes sense. I mean, with reason. And I mean, that there's an amount of work that goes into everything. And people are usually passionate about this stuff too, so it's not like people are like super like about their time with it because they love doing what they're doing. But I think that's another facet to this, and really another strong case for the artisan economy, I think, of the future.
I agree. And
that's a direction.
By the way, I'm totally gonna give you your props right now on your own show. That I love the quality.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
And we really appreciate that just because we worked really hard at trying to get that done. And there's still some things that we struggle with for sure on, sound booms and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Not a ping pong table.
Yeah.
I mean, I know occasionally I pick up my whiskey. Yeah. And so cheers to all of us.
Well, and cheers to the folks at BuzzFeed for having some awesome algorithms and stuff.
Yes.
Buzzsprout that has some really amazing stuff on their RSS feed that strips that stuff down to the finish.
But I mean, with this kind of podcasting, like, I'll use Joe Rogan as an experience, as an example.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like perfectly clean audio. Like you can hear the whiskey rock on the glass. Like, like that's not as big of a deal.
They drink with whiskey rocks specifically on that show. Yeah.
Oh, do they really? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
And I've seen them with ice too, combo. But it depends on probably the quality, I would imagine.
Yeah, but like
they're all connoisseurs over there.
You know what? I just like to drink it. Fuck being a connoisseur on anything. Like, like why do you have to take the fun out of it?
Yeah, no, I agree. It was funny because we were talking to Steve from the Summoned. They're like a tech, math, metal. Amazing band. They're just very technical, and their vocalist had an experience in wine tasting. He's like, it's not as complex as people make it out to be. And he's kind of like, and he's like, it's cool. There is something to it because it's just kind of like, but it's like you could learn it pretty quickly. It seemed like it was something that you could grasp, and you just have to have some basic understanding of certain things. With what do you like? That's what it comes down to, right? I mean, like anything. Musical preference,
for sure.
Right down to video games and porn, dude. Fucking people like what they like. They're
exactly
very individual human beings,
Well,
and you can't change that niche about. I mean, people are like what they. Some people like peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches. It's weird, but it's a jam,
Gross, but whatever.
Right.
If you're gonna eat that, I'm not gonna judge you. But just know that I'm not eating it.
It's a
taking a bite
thing,
and then just smiling.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh.
You know what I found out about?
I've had them before.
Wait.
I've had a peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwich.
Why?
No.
Because people in my
don't like it.
biological family, somewhere down the line, my mom had been introduced to it, and she's just like, oh yeah, this is some obscure thing. Then like, no, I'm never trying it. I tried it once.
And
it's not horrific, but I wouldn't. It's not my thing. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't go out of your way to eat it.
I wouldn't go out of my way to eat it, but it's not like what you think. It's not horrifically bad like you'd think it would be. Like, it's just really weird.
Mayonnaise toast. Did you know that was a thing?
Mm-hmm. Recently, but yes, recently.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess in the sense of like, you put mayonnaise on, a BLT, but like.
Right, that's where it brings it back.
But I need the L, the B, and the L and the T in there to make it work.
Yeah.
Like
you gotta have the full circle there.
Yeah, exactly.
MIT, mayonnaise, iceberg lettuce, and tomato.
Yeah.
Tell me to shut the fuck up.
MIT sandwich.
MIT sandwich.
See that fucking thing just throw it at my head. You're out. Fucking go to bed. You're done, son.
How much of that Sex on the Beach have you had?
Lots of it.
Oh my god.
Wait, is that what you're drinking?
I guess so.
Wait,
I guess it is.
So did you go concoct that in the kitchen, or did you have some sort of mix?
Allie had the.
There's a little but. No, he's got a little but.
And...
No, don't let him lie. He's got a little butler out there. A little creepy little fucking gremlin dude that makes some shit.
Next messed up.
I was just.
Comes from under the fucking.
He's been having some of the potion too, so he's fucking about to pop out. Just bangs something. What? Like, what did you say? Did you
are we talking? Is this the same guy that the night that was tripping on shrooms, and I saw the guy trying to clean the oh man, it's a whole story, and I don't know if I've already told it on the air before, but
you might have.
I might need a little bit of context here.
So I fell asleep eating shrooms. I woke up because they weren't kicking in. I just gave up and ended up smoking a bunch of weed.
You ate
and fall asleep.
You ate like an eighth.
I ate the shrooms and I fell asleep. And I woke up and he's like, no, go ahead. You can crash. His kid wasn't home. Go ahead and crash my kid's room for the night. There's a bed in there. At least you're not going to be sleeping on the floor.
Yeah.
So I woke up next to a stuffed animal fucking
the big lion.
A giant lion, losing my mind, dude. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm jarred. And I get up and I get downstairs and there's this guy desperately trying to clean. I didn't realize it's like 4:30 in the morning, and this guy's short little guy, all wrapped up and bundled. It's freezing cold, and he's just trying to get the ice off of his fucking windshield wipers, and he's just.
So he's just this little gremlin.
Yeah, he's a little gremlin. He's just.
Jumps up on the car. Then he starts beating the windshield.
You know,
And he like snaps at me real quick. I'm like, ugh.
my husband
his own neck.
is 9 years older than me. So just for some context.
Yeah.
And so in the early 90s, he did a lot of acid. Maybe he doesn't want me saying that on this podcast, but oops, sorry, honey.
It's all right. I just admitted to it, pal. It's all right. And I was thinking the same thing when I was saying it. So these things happen.
I've dabbled.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was a kid.
2019,
He was a
buddy.
kid. And
yeah.
and
Probably made him a better person ultimately.
so he had like this this flashback once, or whatever you call it. I don't know. I've never done anything like that before, so I have no idea. But like all of a sudden, this coffee pot like jumped off of the whatever and started like dancing around, and then went back in and stopped moving.
Yep.
And he's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, well,
He's like, I'm clean.
Yeah, this should not happen.
I might be exaggerating
Any
how
type
much
of-
acid he did, but you know.
Yeah, no, it can happen on a minor amount. It can happen when people microdose because it stays in your system, and then a long time later, it can just release into your system. It's just terrifying.
You see, I never did it because more that like. I
And
guess
that can
maybe
be
it
like
was a
one-time
goodie.
use thing too.
Like maybe I was a little bit of a goody, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I wanted to, but I was kind of afraid that I would like get addicted to it because that's how I am.
Yeah.
I would have been like, give me all that acid.
Give me all of it.
Yeah,
Right.
all at once.
Yeah.
One time, I want the
All
whole
of
fucking sheet. I want
was-
the book.
I'll be
Give me
honest
it.
with you. That's actually part of the reason why I stopped.
I stopped because I had bad trips. And,
I had a thing where like I really liked it a lot, and I liked the escape from reality, and I didn't want to stop using it, and it became almost like an addiction to that escape from reality. I could totally see myself if I didn't have a kid and responsibilities and actual fucking time to VR. It's amazing with like this video game.
tried to get me to do it. I was like, no way.
I really want to, but also now like because I'm like highly medicated, so
Yeah.
so like
I heard that.
it honestly like it wouldn't probably work for me anyways
Sure.
because I think what am I on, like an SSRI or something like that.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
SSRI or SNRI. Or...
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so but because I had a concussion like a year ago.
Okay.
And so they like highly medicated me to like
Yeah.
you know,
a lot of times those
stop.
specifically help.
for the
Yep.
concussion. And so yeah, they're like, yeah, that's not gonna work for you because like I don't remember what I was gonna do, and I was like, I really want to do this because like I want to see what I write, like I want to write something on drugs. And then they're like, yeah, that's probably not gonna work for you. I'm like, what the fuck? I missed my chance.
Damn.
I missed my chance to do drugs. Like, what the fuck?
No, you didn't. You didn't miss your chance.
He's never too late.
It's never too late to do
Just
so.
busts out a fucking suitcase.
It's
What do you want?
we've got amphetamines and ketamine, and while the DEA is listening, I'm just joking. I mean,
Yes, we're
mean-
totally kidding. None of us have ever done any of these drugs ever.
didn't you like that though? I'm just joking. I mean, get it.
Wildies.
It's not as funny when you explain it.
I know, but that's how I have to deliver the jokes. I'm really all right. You aren't aware of this probably, but I'm
Uh-oh.
very known for bad jokes. And then
Bad dad jokes?
Yeah, I mean, I am a dad, so I make really bad, lame dad jokes all the time. But
I love
also,
dad jokes.
Me too. So
before
bad
I
that
was
they
a
actually go
dad-
unnoticed. And everybody continues to just live their life, and I'm just like
Before I was a bad,
back into the shadows.
before I was a dad, I was making bad dad jokes. Just cheesy, terrible,
Bad dad jokes.
bad dad jokes.
I do love the bad dad jokes. They're what makes me
so
laugh.
Cheesy, so fucking cheesy.
Exactly. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I love about
It's
them.
the good stuff.
I have like the quirkiest sense of humor. so like most people don't understand
Same.
me. And so like I'll be like laughing about something, people will be like, that's not that funny. Like for years when I was a kid, Turkey Street in North Berwick, I would laugh so hard. I'd be like, Turkey Street, and I would laugh for like 10 or 15 minutes, like uncontrollably laughing because I thought that was hilarious, and everyone's like, that is not that funny. I'm like, it's fucking hilarious. It's Turkey Street.
Do you ever have to like
That
get
is
up like something
hilarious.
makes you laugh and everybody's like, what the fuck are you what are you
What the
doing?
fuck is wrong
Yeah.
with you?
And then you go, and the fact that they're going, what the fuck is the problem?
What is
And you laugh even harder, and you're
Yes.
like, I can't. No. And they're like, are you? No, I'm like,
Are
leave
you
me
okay?
alone.
You gotta
Yeah.
leave
I
me
have to go outside.
I gotta go.
sometimes.
This happened with him one time.
Oh, God. How many times?
I spliced, I photoshopped the head of Michael Bolton onto the body of a golden retriever and called it Golden Bolton, and he
No,
had
I cannot.
he couldn't handle it.
Oh.
He had to leave the room. His face got all red. This isn't the thing that he does often. He doesn't have hysterical moments where he
Oh
laughs.
my
I almost
God.
fucking threw
Too
up.
hard.
I was like, no, I can't.
Too hard laughter. That's not a Justin thing. I got him that time.
Yes.
Plus
with
the
the Golden
chance,
Bolton.
the Chance Dogs
Golden
thing
Bolton.
too. We were doing Mad Libs or whatever, and
Yeah.
and I think you started like passing out, and you're like, I'm like, verb, and you're like, Chance Dogs.
What the fuck are Chance Dogs?
He didn't know either. It was just Chance Dogs, and I thought about like a dog, like, give me a chance, and I just fucking lost it.
It's the look on your face.
This is a like a golden retriever, or like one of those like, you know, just fucking basset hounds. Let me in, it's cold.
Eventually, I have
Isn't
to
it
have
delicious?
we'll have to have a YouTube.
I
you
know.
You know.
Facebook Live.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta do it.
Oh my god.
Because it'll work well, especially with Justin. He's got a good comedic.
I know. It was the look on your face that did it.
I don't even know how I did it.
Years later, I still can't stop laughing. You don't know.
Oh my god.
Chance Dogs. Chance Dogs, let him in. Let him in.
The dog.
Yeah.
Let him in.
He's like, get that dog in.
Get
Chance-
that dog in.
Chance Dogs. Good god.
We have a
Chance
very
Dogs.
obscure sense of humor.
There's like one just Chance Dogs.
one
Chance Dogs.
Chance Dogs.
If you make me spit out whiskey, I will be so mad.
And so will be
'Cause that
the
is such a-
makers of Templeton Rock.
You know, I have to say, it is the good stuff.
It is. It
Definitely
is.
is the
It's
good
smooth.
stuff.
It
It
is
is.
smooth
It
because
is very
it's not.
I'm very impressed with this
Yeah.
Templeton Rye.
What proof is it?
It is 80 proof, 40% alcohol, 80 proof. Yeah, rye whiskey aged 4 years, so not bad for a little 4-year whiskey.
Yeah, you know, one of my favorites though.
We made an audible boop.
My husband and I love
Cold
Smoky
Ocean
Quartz.
What is it?
Smoky
Huh.
Quartz. It's in Seabrook.
Well,
It's
Seabrook.
amazing. The dude there like worked at GE,
oh boy.
and he like designed his whole distillery like himself, and then like built
Huh.
it with him and his dad, and they're like all about veterans and
Oh yeah.
yeah. So like we did a little tour there. It's like really really small, but their whiskeys are really good.
Where is it at? Is it?
It's in Seabrook.
Do you remember? Is it where all the? I used to live in Seabrook.
If people could see, they'd see me raising my shoulders, questioning like,
Route 1.
I don't know. Yes, try it. Try it.
I'll give it a try, but this stuff makes me sneeze a lot. I turned to Dr. Seabrook.
You are the wolf. Templeton Rye.
Let's see.
See, smooth.
It doesn't burn going down.
It's not bad,
Wow.
right?
Yeah, it's not bad.
It doesn't have like the aftertaste of it isn't like it's not coming back. Oh, you got it like a few minutes later.
This
Give you
like
the chills.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
but
doesn't
it's
smell
not,
bad
it's
either.
still not.
Yeah.
Oh, this is whiskey. Like,
Yeah,
the other whiskey.
He's
I,
not a whiskey kind of guy.
Yeah, you know, we drink
Not a
whiskey in winter.
kind of guy.
We drink a lot of beer in the summer. What was that?
Chance Dogs.
Oh.
All night. That's gonna be his default.
You know what? Okay. I want to say
distinction.
this. So, Thursday, my husband's name is Dan. Dan and I are going to Gettysburg because we got engaged in Gettysburg
Interesting.
in
shit, that's
2008, and then we got married.
We're
in
talking about Pennsylvania, Gettysburg.
Yes.
Yeah, like Gettysburg Address, Gettysburg.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
There may be only one. I just didn't know if I didn't want to confuse anything. So.
Yeah. No,
That's awesome.
I wouldn't have thought there was another one, but it's possible. I mean, you never know. So.
I don't think so. I think it's just my brain being like, that other one, dude.
So we're going to stay Thursday night at the Farnsworth Inn, which is supposed to be like super haunted. And of course, I call the lady and I'm like, I want to stay in your scariest room. And she's like, the Sarah Black room. And I'm like, fuck yeah. So she's like, all right, it's open. So we're going to stay in the most haunted room at the Farnsworth Inn, which is supposed to be like one of the more famous haunted areas.
Yeah.
So then on Friday, then we're going back to the Balladarian, which is where we got engaged, and we're spending 2 nights there.
Nice.
But we have to be, so we're car people, and so we're driving down that way because we want to go to 3 Mile Island to take the NSX to go get photos, like to take some pictures at 3 Mile Island. So we're like, I called the hotel and I'm like, the inns, and I'm like, I need to know what your parking situation is and if we can get into the driveway. But I'm like, but I really want to stay here because I really want to know if I'm going to get scared. Like, I want to be scared.
That's crazy.
Yes.
The person that manages my community's rent, community rent or whatever. I'm not going to go
Community
into it too much.
chest.
It's like a lot kind of thing. Was named like Sarah Black, and that's just so creepy.
Weird.
Yeah, that just creeped me out when you said that. I'm like, I'm sure there's no coincidence, and
Yeah.
Well,
Well, like,
Wow.
So I host a show called Paranormal 13 News. So I'm one of like the anchors for that show, and so yeah, like I love like paranormal stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
So.
It's awesome. I love it too.
We're going to have an awesome discussion about this then.
Oh, are we?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
Aliens.
Yes. Okay, let's
Specifically.
talk about aliens.
Let's discuss. So, excuse me.
No dying on the podcast.
Not yet.
You're doing.
Just that. Concentrate. The big understanding is now that not necessarily that we have extraterrestrial life forms visiting us, but we have UFOs visiting us that
Totally believe that.
are moving faster than physics would allow, with the mediums of air and water, how they move through either medium seamlessly and unexplainably. This is very opposite ends of the spectrum.
Okay.
I'm a very skeptical person. Have been my whole entire life until recently, for some personal reasons, but also because the whole world has the common understanding now that we're being visited by these UFOs. I mean, this is just general, like that. You can't be a skeptic about it. They're not from this planet.
How can you?
They can't be.
Imagine with how big the universe is that we're alone.
I can't.
I can't either. You want to know why? Because
And that's not where I'm skeptical.
see, that's
I'm more or less skeptical in the fact that they would be. They're more likely to the whole like Fermi paradox and Drake equation and stuff that the likelihood of us contacting each other because of us existing at the same time in space, 2 civilizations, like a Christmas tree light. You think of the Christmas tree as your galaxy or whatever, and then you've got lights going on at different times, and one light is one civilization, and it goes off while the other light goes on, and they never kind of line up or whatever.
Right.
And then some might, but then there's a distance between them, so you've got to factor that in as well. But then there's will they destroy themselves before they reach the ability to contact another civilization successfully, or even travel through space and whatnot? But obviously, look, we've got I think all that goes out the window now with what's going on. I mean, I think we all, even the people that are like, oh, well, it's just UFOs, we don't know for sure that it's extraterrestrials.
Right.
Well, what the fuck is it?
Well, there was
I mean, okay, homeboy, let's think of a better equation than
we did this story on a UFO that I can't remember, like, it was like the Brazilian government or, someone from South America, I want to say. I don't remember exactly where it was from. I have a horrible memory when it comes to that.
Okay.
But we did this story, and it was like the government coming out and saying, like, we saw this UFO.
Yeah.
And, like, I can't imagine that a government would want to come out and say that without good reason for it, because I don't feel like they'd want to cause that much like mass paranoia.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because people, like, the government doesn't want people to be paranoid, like, in that sense. You know what I mean? Like, like calling the police every 5 seconds because they think they're seeing a UFO or whatever.
Yeah.
But there had to be a reason for it, and I truly believe that whatever it was they saw, that it was real.
So I believe that too.
Undeniably huge too. Must have been seen by a lot of people.
And
something. That's wild.
Oh, what are we looking at here?
We are going to be looking at something here in a second if we get past the
seamlessly connecting.
Whoa!
Not,
Whoa! I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, we don't want to get that loud background.
Well, it's not that. I don't want to hear about the Lincoln.
No, I don't either.
No. Fuck that.
Lincoln Batwings. You sit down on the
Lincoln Batwings. So I'm gonna try to find.
Okay, wait. Before we.
Yeah. Tofu-less. Oh my god.
Can we talk about your search history? Yeah. Before we go, dank cat memes 2. What is that?
All right.
Is this mine or yours?
This is
Megaloviania spoon and glass.
This is mine, and it's probably more than likely my kid.
Dank. I just love the dank cat memes 2.
Dank cat memes 2.
Clearly, he doesn't know how to spell meme.
Memes. Have you seen the cat puke techno remix thing?
No, it's on the internet. How terrible of a parent I am.
Tofu lettuce sim. And I love how
let your child watch YouTube.
I love
you.
I made money off of kids watching YouTube, so I'm not too sad about that. But I love how lettuce is spelled with a Q.
You're not gonna be the one getting heat for watching letting your kid watch YouTube.
Yeah, because I don't have kids; they're in the garage.
Hey, you win.
Keep knitting.
I drove one of them here.
What was I?
Oh, sorry. I totally with your lettuce Q. Oh, I love Fortnite memes.
Lettuce Q.
Okay. Oh, Tucker. Who's Tucker Carlson? Am I gonna are people gonna make fun of me? I don't know who he is.
I think he's just the Fox. He's Fox News guy.
Oh, okay. I don't watch the news.
Yeah, I don't really watch it either. I see stuff on my phone.
UFOs have captivated the public interest for decades, but they've always been dismissed, including by me, as the province of wackos. But that is changing thanks to some remarkable videotape.
Right on Fox News and CNN and all these mainstream medias, they're accepting the realities, and they have been. This is back in 2015. Ooh. this is a fairly long video, so I won't go too far into this. But what
Yeah.
I'm trying to highlight with this is that the mainstream news sources are putting this up as just a basic understanding that, look, these things exist. We don't know what they are. The guy who was running the program, looking into it, left and joined the Stars Academy that the guy from Blink 182 fucking started.
Oh yes.
Okay,
yes,
so
Tom.
look, Tom DeLonge, DeLonge.
I don't even know how to say it.
I'm pretty sure it's Tom DeLonge. He started this thing, and I think it's great what he's doing. But I think what's more amazing is that like people are just like, yeah, screw that. I'm jumping on board with Tom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and this guy ran the thing for the Pentagon, Luis Elizondo or whatever his name is, and that was the other one I was gonna say was to show you on the.
Oh, there it is. It's S.
Okay.
I only know that because your search history came up with it.
All right.
We may not be alone. Pentagon's secret UFO program revealed.
We don't have loneliness. We got aliens that talk to us like this. I just know that their nostrils go, and they're like, makes us vibrate. We have to wear a helmet so we don't get dizzy.
Yes.
Program, Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, was really designed to do just that. From a national security perspective, identify those things that we see, whether we see them electro-optically, we see them with radar, we see them as eyewitness reports, through a myriad of different ways and avenues that we receive the information, and try to ascertain and determine if that information is a potential threat to national security, in a nutshell.
So, what did you find?
Well, we found a lot.
No
I
shit.
think it's probably
Yeah, we found a lot.
It's
What did you find? We found it.
We found it.
Yeah.
We totally found
We
it.
found some stuff.
He's like, I even found my stepdaughter making out with her boyfriend out in the car last night, and I wasn't too happy about that because there's pot smoke there. And I told them multiple times, it's not appropriate for that stuff to be happening on my property. I mean, I used to work for the state.
The state.
I slashed the tires. And I said, I realized it was my own truck.
I don't make fun of this guy. Sorry, Luis.
Yeah.
I mean that you're awesome. What you guys are doing is great.
Yeah.
If you're out there
Yeah.
listening, keep it up. And
If he saw me, he'd fucking look at me and make fun of me. I don't see that. I'm not gonna dismiss that.
Same. Look at us.
yeah,
A bunch of hooligans.
no, fuck that. We're all awesome. Look at us. We're awesome.
We're all
We
pretty
rot.
fucked up too.
It's true.
Okay, so speaking
So
of
true.
fucked up.
So let's end this because I got my point across. I guess was that
Who did?
it's
Sorry,
main-
we totally talked over that whole thing.
No. We didn't need to address anything about it. It was more so the attention
Awareness.
of the
Yes,
fact
be
that it's
aware of it.
mainstream. This is happening. We're understanding that this is the biggest thing in our life, and we need to address that because if we're focusing all of our understanding and attention as a society on everything instead of climate change and political divisiveness and all
Ugh,
this,
bleh.
just
You know what I say to politics? Bleh.
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah.
Focus all of our attention on contacting aliens. These obviously are these aliens that are obviously reaching out to us. Put all of our divisiveness and political bullshit aside and focus it.
Uh-oh.
Have some
Knocking stuff.
You're totally a pro.
I know, right?
professional
It's my
wires.
tabletop microphone.
We're doing drums on
And-
the table.
We set these things aside to try to make contact with these guys and be like, hey, can you save us? Because we can't. We're pretty screwed. Can you give us the technology that you know what I think it is that the government, and this is a really good thing on your time when you get a chance, Unacknowledged. It's a documentary on Netflix, and it's from the perspective of this Dr. Stephen Greer, I believe. He was on the Joe Rogan podcast a long time back, I think,
A little bit, yeah.
and a few
yeah,
other
like
podcasts
2012.
that are very notable in the UFO space. I'm not as familiar with them because I'm not a UFO podcast listener. It's something I'd like to start
degree
doing because it's interested me now, being a former skeptic and not now.
You know what though? Let's go back to the skeptic thing.
Well, I'm still a skeptic. but,
Okay, let's go back to that. Because
It's healthy to be skeptical.
that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, if you fully believe every fucking paranormal thing that you hear, or like every time you take a picture and you think that a piece of dust is an orb, like okay, maybe we need a little more natural selection. Maybe. Because
Do I sense a little bit of libertarian in the?
maybe a lot libertarian.
Okay.
I do know Brandon.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
And
That's
I do
great.
love I align pretty closely with him.
That's awesome. I mean, I consider
think I
myself
do
to be
too,
a libertarian,
honestly.
but I'm a lot more left leaning, I guess, and that's. But we're gonna avoid politics for the most part. I identify as libertarian as well, and I sense that, and so I thought.
Yes, no, you totally got that spot on. Because I feel like you really should be questioning everything. Like,
You certainly should.
if you are just taking everything at face value, like, maybe you'll be happier than most people, but I feel like that's
It's like 1984, right? And then it's like that whole like just following the whole like victory brand everything, and just like sticking your head in the sand about everything, and just like going along with it and accepting whatever Big Brother and the party, whatever's best for the party. And
oh yeah. Or then like,
so
but the
fucked
thing
up,
about like
and-
today that sucks is that people like I can't tell you how many times I love to troll people on Facebook when they share crap they haven't read. It'll be like, I'll be like, so I actually read this article, and they're just trying to get viral shares. Like, if you actually read this article, you would see that's not what this article's about.
It's all about just getting
Clickbait. That's what I said. That's what it is. It'll be like, this is
seeing the
clickbait.
results.
all day. And you know
Yeah.
what? Hey, it makes them a ton of money. They turned it into a goddamn art form.
And I wish I could be that shallow and like do that, because I would love to like make money off of that, but I just can't do it. I just like
Yeah, that'd be.
like I don't know. I can't do it. My conscience says no. It says I can't do that, and I wish I could.
Yeah, it seems dirty.
Yeah. Okay.
Dirty.
So like going back to like podcasting and stuff like that. For you guys, like, what's been your hardest part about running a podcast and like trying to get people to share it and talk about it and like get the word out there?
Our lack of motivation in actually getting the word out there.
So
Yeah,
you're
pretty
blaming
much.
yourself.
I'm doing a good amount of it through friends and whatnot, and where I can myself. I mean, I kind of struggle through, dealing with a disability, but also trying to manage being, a single dad, and managing, life. Things in my life have changed recently. My wife just passed away, and everything kind of is gone a completely different direction. Even though things were kind of difficult before, it's hard to get into, but it's so very, very different. So adapting and stuff has been really difficult for me to spend the time. Just like I've got to edit episodes and all that stuff, which is it's something that's a necessary evil. It's got to get done.
It's kind of the shitty part sometimes.
It's the shitty part sometimes when it's like when I'm trying
This
to
is
make
the fun
time
part.
to do it. But whereas I'm not, I'm focusing all my time pretty much on, my son, and then there's music and stuff too. So it's just finding the balance to kind of do stuff, and but also the drive to get myself into it, because when you're having those rough days, and I've been discussing a lot about self-introspect and mental health, and being open and honest about things involving mental health, even when I don't want to talk about it because it's kind of uncomfortable and awkward. It's important to discuss because there's a stigma that needs to just be gone.
I
Because,
agree.
you know,
Yes.
we've got erratic behaviors in different political systems. Because it's not because it's like, oh, who lets someone so operate said office with political. It's like, no, why isn't it that it's okay for everybody to just be, you know, open about the fact that they get counseling? And why is it a stigma? Why is it to begin with, you know? Why is it a thing that like, oh, I don't need counseling. I'm a man of bravado.
It's okay to need help.
Bullshit. Yeah.
It's okay to need help, and that's,
Completely.
you know what?
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna say this. A friend of mine once said to me, so her son was diagnosed with autism, and you know, when I first was getting treated for anxiety years ago, I was like, you know, I'm kind of embarrassed about the fact that I need medication for that.
Same.
Yeah, and
Going
so
through
she's
that.
like, you know what? That medication is there for you to use it. I wish there was a medication that would help my son with his autism. So you take that medication and you remember that at least you have a treatment. You have something that can help you.
Right.
And I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Like you put that in some perspective for me. Like there are things out there that you cannot get treatment for, and the things that you can, fucking get the treatment.
Yeah, yes
yeah.
and no though, because I have I struggle with that with the ADD and ADHD and taking psychostimulant medications. And I hate those medications. They're really hard for me to take, and I because they're literally just amphetamines mixed with sugar, you know.
I won't lie, I love them.
Oh yeah.
Because I
But
needed them. I needed them.
They dry. No, so I mean, I was diagnosed at a young age with the ADD, ADHD. So we were right before the podcast, kind of
Yeah.
Commiserating on this.
Because I was
So
only
I think
diagnosed this year.
So that it's,
Ooh,
but I think
wow.
that this happens a
Pretty recent.
lot where
Yeah.
people just kind of muscle through certain symptoms their entire life,
Mm-hmm.
and then later in life you identify these things. And I mean, granted, for me, I was on medication from
Kind of
the
where
age
I'm
of
at right now.
I
Like,
was on 40 milligrams of Adderall at the age of like 10. And I think
Huh.
when I started out, I was like Ritalin. It was like 20 milligrams in the morning, 20 milligrams in the afternoon. And eventually I had a drop off issue. So they started giving me like 5 milligrams or like where I was breaking it up at the end of the day. And this was back in the 90s too. So this
Yeah.
is all
And
when I
that's
was
when
just
they-
trying this shit out.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
they didn't like
And
give
they didn't
give that
know.
away like candy like they do now.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they kind of.
I remember
it
a
felt
couple
like they did,
kids in
but
school.
they did test it. I don't know. It just like I was tested for like 8 hours for it, so I don't think it is like the same like you're saying, where they, you know, it's just like they're like your kid needs psychostimulants and your kid, and they're just
I
like,
had-
throwing them into the crowd.
Yeah,
like,
I had the 8-hour test.
You're right. So
Yeah.
you went through the whole thing. You got to the experience of it.
Yeah, and that was brutal.
It is.
Never
it
taken
is.
one of those before.
That happened to me.
Really?
When I was a little,
No.
when I was a little kid, I had that
Shit.
test, and it was.
So there's this.
I can't imagine when I was little. I don't remember any of it.
I'd like
There's
to
this-
know a little bit more, but yeah.
No, okay, so you could. I mean, like if you really think you have like ADD or ADHD, and you really truly need to get treatment, you would see a neuropsychologist, and then they do the test. And like there's this one section where they would like it'd be like, okay, press the space bar every single time you see a letter, except when you see the letter X. And I scored so high on the compulsive side of that because I pressed the space bar like probably every single time except for like maybe 4 times. And it was like a long test, like minutes long.
Yeah.
And
But you missed an entire other thing that you weren't paying attention to.
and it was because like I'd be like, damn it, motherfucker, and she's like the woman in there, I was like, I'm so sorry, I can't help it right now, like
But they're like, no, it's all right.
yeah. And then I
Obsessed with,
scored
like,
and then I scored like super high on the mania scale.
yeah.
Like,
Because you had to get it right. You're obsessed with getting it right.
well, that and voiceover,
Oh yeah.
because they're like, do you think that you'll be famous? I'm like, fuck yeah, I think I'm gonna be famous. Like,
Yeah.
like going through all these things. They're like, you know, do you think you're always right? Yeah, I'm always right. Like, like all these things, and I get.
Delusions of grandeur.
That's exactly what I was diagnosed with.
Really?
Yes.
But they're delicious.
I didn't.
Yeah.
That's wrong, though.
So-
no, because I think that you're right in the aspect that I think you're gonna go somewhere with your talent because you're.
But see,
Yeah,
that's.
I
But
agree with
think
you, dude.
about that though. So like,
I do.
I have this drive to be better than what I ever thought I could. Like I want to do like
They can shove their delusions of grandeur right up their fucking assholes.
exactly
Yes.
because like to me like I am going to be an A-list. Fuck yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Indeed.
I'm gonna be a fucking A-list voice actor. I am working my ass off towards that.
And you're gonna get there.
And I will get there, and that's why I answered those questions the way that I did.
It's just answering every call and then, doing everything you can and doing every audition you get and everything you can take, every commercial, every dog food jingle, everything.
Yep.
Anything you can get, yeah.
I try to dabble a little in everything.
That's so good though. That's so good.
And what I found was that like I felt like the key to success is to figure out like what your strengths are and then say no to the other stuff until you get to a point where you can start to do those other things because you've reached this level where you're sustaining yourself on the things that you're really good at, that you can start to concentrate on the things that you're not as good at.
Yeah.
And so
absolutely.
like to me, like I was saying yes to everything for a while. Like
Sure.
anything that was coming my way, I was like, yes.
Right.
Shower me in all of this stuff. And then I was getting overwhelmed and I was like, and then I wasn't putting as much effort into all these other things that I should have been putting effort into. And eventually it just got to a point where I'm like, okay, I need to figure out like what I'm good at. Like I want to do animation. I want to do anime. Like I train really hard in anime and animation.
Yeah.
That is not my strong suit. I'm fucking amazing at commercials and I will tell anybody and everyone that I'm amazing at it. I don't care how
That's
condescending
awesome.
I sound.
No, that's great.
And
That is great.
I suck at it. I'm so bad at it. It's so hard.
I love it.
It's
Oh my
so
god.
good.
And I'm
It's-
so good at like narrating for like kids especially. And like narrating like tutorial videos and stuff like that. Like I'm
Yeah.
really good at that cuz I can be very conversational.
That's
and
good.
That's what
Important,
people
too.
want. Yeah.
Especially for kiddos, you know.
Yeah, and that's what people want nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So like
true.
I know that my bread and butter is going to be commercials. Whether I like it or not, that's my bread and butter, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. And I'm just going to continue to train my ass off in anime and animation, which we were talking about.
So do you also play instruments as well?
So I started taking piano a month ago
That's really cool though.
because
That's awesome.
I didn't know how to read music, and I've been taking singing lessons for like 3 years. And it got to a point where I'm like, I really want to, improve. And I felt like because I couldn't read music and I didn't understand the notes and I didn't understand the scales and I didn't understand minor
still
and
don't.
major.
I still don't either.
Yeah, and both of us, we've been playing music he's been playing music for a lot longer than me.
But can you read
yeah.
music?
I can't.
Nope.
What?
No.
It's really hard.
I know.
It's really hard.
And we should, at our point, we've
My
played,
daughter reads music.
we've
She
played,
doesn't really play music, but she reads it.
we've played some, really professional, circumstances, like played the downstairs Palladium stage and, opened for, national acts and Unrest in Transit with Matt and like some really, circumstances where like we should know more about.
Should probably know what the fucking, but it happens so quick, it just happens. These
right.
big,
Okay,
weird
but
venues.
there's that you should do this.
but fuck that.
But then it's
Yeah.
like, what do you feel? What did you feel
but
like
you
it's-
guys see,
What
you
lights you
guys
on
have like a
fire?
natural, like you can understand the music without having to read it. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't understand the music,
So-
so that's why I
Wait,
wanted.
give it time. So this is here thing I'm gonna
It's like
suggest.
musical schizophrenia.
I'm gonna
That's
suggest
what happens in my brain.
throw the
Start-
less. No, I'm not gonna say throw the lessons out the window. Lessons are great, and it's something I probably should have done more. But rely less on.
good to know.
Less on lessons, and rely more on you just sitting down and getting stoned, or if you drink wine or whatever your thing is, even if it's coffee, just sit down and kava root or whatever. You sit down and like jam out on your Casio keyboard with like a cheap beat, and just cheesy stuff that you think is like at first you think is kind of silly, but like that's the best part about music. Like that's really what you should be doing, to start with music on like keys and whatnot, like having just like a cheap keyboard or
That's what I have.
so that's perfect.
Nice.
And just use that all the time, mess around all the time,
I have
and forget the
two-
lessons for
I
a little
have
bit.
2 keyboards that like someone basically gave me. Like
Yeah.
I bought
Nice.
both of them for $50 together.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really
They were
awesome.
used. They're not, the full keyboard,
Yeah.
but I don't need the full keyboard. And, to me, like, part of my problem is that I can't, like, if I want to, like, write, if I ever want to write a song, I don't feel like the music, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I will say, so I played for you earlier my Why Don't You Do Right?
That sounded
Yeah, that sounded
amazing.
really, really good.
Amazing voice.
When I
Very
learned,
impressed.
thank you. I appreciate that a
It
lot.
really is good.
Very, very impressed.
So that song, when I recorded it, I had never practiced it in singing lessons.
Really?
Yeah. And then like the other song that so the other one that Aaron at Sonic Forge, who also recorded a lot of my podcasts, so he recorded all my lines because I couldn't do it myself. There was no way. And then to try to split them all, and he split them for me. So but he's gonna do because I want to sing a Journey song, and he's like, can't you ever pick anything easy? But I'm like, no, because like I don't know, like I wanted to sing Love and Touch and Squeezin' because I don't know, like I got something
That's
out
your
of it.
Jam, if that's your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went and sang it at karaoke recently, and I sang it in the totally wrong key because I just wanted to sing it whatever key I sing it in. I didn't care what
Yeah.
the background music was, and it
Yeah.
sounded
Yes.
really horrible. But I think once I change the key, I think it'll sound good.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's the thing.
Some
I mean,
Def Leppard.
you've got to
Hysteria.
kind of find the dynamic of it a lot of times, and I think dynamic is important, whether it's in music or just the back and forth between guests. I think so far we've had a really great start to an awesome show. So this is part of the show where we
Absolutely.
kind of have to take a little bit of a break and
Break
go
and
to our sponsors over at Content 19, and then here in a second we'll be right back with you momentarily after our break.
Hey bitches, my name is Jess, and I am a local Maine podcaster. And you know what? I know what makes Maine amazing, and that is Stephen King. You know what else is amazing is when I'm walking down the road and someone says to me, hey, I fucking love your shirt. Well, guess what? You can do that with Katet19.net. That's Ka-TET, the number 19.net. The official Stephen King vendor for all of your favorite clothing. That's right. So make sure you get on over there and use coupon code Abstract Transmissions for 19% off. Fuck yeah. So get on over there where you can get all your Stephen King apparel, Cujo, Dark Tower, whatever the fuck it is that is your favorite flavor. Get there now. Abstract Transmissions for your 19% off. See you there.
And we are back. So thank you guys for listening in for such an awesome ad done by our very own Jessica Rainville. Thank you very much. That's awesome.
Thank you
That's
very much.
exactly what we were looking
Amazing.
for too.
Sounded great.
Those guys over
Nice.
there at Cotshead 19 are gonna appreciate that because they, they're just really good at what they do and super awesome guys, super flexible with the different options and printing and whatnot, and and trying to offer just a really good quality product, and just meeting a couple of those guys, yep. Digitally over the internet.
But isn't that the way now?
But that is it
Digital
really is,
meet.
Yeah.
Digital meet. That's how you meet.
It is.
Digital meet.
Digital meet.
I feel like part
Goofball. Digital meet.
the now I'm thinking like meat like MEAT.
Yeah.
Like
meat. Digital meat.
Like what do you want in your shake?
Meat. Yeah. Digital meat.
Digital meet. Just
What's that?
Ren and Stimpy.
That's what I was thinking. What's that from? Oh my god. You touching on nostalgia stuff there. What are you doing there?
Well, we can thank Dan for that one because he does that all the time. We'll be like, "What do you want for dinner?" Meat.
Yes. Yeah.
I actually got to meet Billy West. He was
nice.
awesome.
I am so jealous.
Oh my god. So one of my mentors, Karosha Ona, she's the one I do Paranormal 13 News with. She's like the creator of Paranormal 13 News.
That's fascinating.
So she's good friends with him. So, I was at a convention with her and just kind of like shadowing, and so she introduced me to him, and we got to chat and stuff like that, and he was just wicked nice.
That's amazing.
Super nice.
He is such a nice guy. I heard in person, but I heard that like when it comes to like being like able to, I don't know if this is true or not, but being out in large groups of people, he's just kind of like, he doesn't want to be around a ton of people.
I could see that. I mean, he's
I can understand that completely.
Yeah, no, it's overwhelming.
And I may be wrong about that too.
Agreed.
I just had heard that. Yeah,
I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know for sure because I don't like know him like personally,
Sure.
but the interaction that I did have with him, like he was extremely nice and gave me a lot of great information and
That's
just
awesome.
about voiceover in general.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I was very, very happy that I got to meet him.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
So Fry was a main character of his.
Yes.
As well as
I did get him to say "shut up and take my money" for me.
oh no, you didn't. That's so cool.
I have it.
I'm so jealous.
I
of
have
you.
it
You have no
on-
idea.
on video, but I got it so he could say it for my husband. He did this video for my husband.
Oh yeah,
And-
that's so sweet though. And
Yeah.
your husband must be a very lucky man because that's awesome. That's the coolest fucking thing ever, in my opinion. That is the shit.
Yeah,
that
but
is
see,
right there.
Then he has to put up with me like when I'm recording. So this is like the opposite side, like the balance of it all.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
like where today he was changing the cat litter and I could hear him doing it in my microphone as I was trying to record.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I didn't know what he was doing and I'm texting him and I'm like, "What are you doing up there? Because I can hear you." And then he like completely destroyed my recording with it because I didn't hear it at first. And then so I go upstairs and I'm like, "You just ruined my recording." And he's like, the look of horror on his face. He's like, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I was just cleaning the cat litter." And I'm
Chance
like,
dogs.
"Don't." Every time you say that, you're
Chance dogs.
fuck.
Let's go fuck him up. We're gonna fuck up our guests. God damn it. Damn it, Justin. Damn it, Teo.
So that's the balance. So like he gets like the cool stuff like that, but then he gets like the demon Jess where I'm like, "You ruined my recording.
Yeah.
Fuck you."
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like it's tough. I've been there. I remember there's a bunch of times that like Kayla and I had gotten into about when I was trying to record vocals to the Unrest in Transit stuff. That we had DIY stuff with Jeremy, and I just, I was trying to do that in the room, and like everybody was loud, and Gavin was loud. It's just like, of course I'm like, can't you shut that kid up out there? Like what kind of fucking shit parent am I? Because I'm all hyper focusing on my thing. It's like, no, you can't. It's a fucking child. He's like fucking 3 years old. Of course you can't shut that kid up. Not that's what I said, but like,
No, I know what you mean though, because you get in that moment and you're like,
shut that child up.
If you have the best like take of your life where you like record this and then it gets fucked up because someone was being loud in the background, like that is the worst. That's the worst.
After you did it 16 times and you're like,
I'm done.
I'm done. I'm so done. This is gonna be the one. This is gonna be the last one, and I'm done. And then you're like, that was solid, but it got ruined.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, I can't edit that out. Yeah.
You just edit that out?
No. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just can't.
Most times you can't.
You know what? You can edit out P-pops.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not recommended most times, but it's you can do it. And I'm actually like, I got to a point where like I was like, because I used to work at the radio station. Actually, Scotty got me a job at the radio station.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Well, because Dan.
Former guests.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Dan and Randy are best friends since they make like a joke about like eating like glue sticks together or something like
Nice.
that. Like
That's
they've
too
known each
funny.
other since they were in
That's awesome.
preschool.
So that must be one of the episodes you might have listened to then. 'cause
That's
you know
exactly
those
what I
guys.
listened to.
That's great.
That's great.
We had a really
That's
fun
awesome.
time with
that
those
was,
guys.
That was nice. I mean,
I love both of those guys so
Kinda
much.
cut out,
They're
like,
awesome.
a little bit. And then we
Yeah.
so,
Oh yeah. With the
Those-
technical difficulties, was really
Yeah.
Such a good
unfortunate.
time.
Ran out of
But
no
that just
power.
gave us more time with those cool guys.
that's
That
what
was
I'm saying.
they're really fun to hang out with just in general.
Really
and,
are.
Absolutely.
I
Super good
admire
people.
that type of attitude towards music, but just the calm, overall positive demeanor in general. Scotty and Randy are both just super.
Well, they
great
had
guys.
amazing things. Well, at least Randy had amazing things to say about you. I didn't tell Scott I was coming on the show.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I did tell Randy. I was like, Randy, guess where I'm going tonight? And he's like, those guys are awesome.
That's great.
That's
That's
great.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we had a lot of fun
It's awesome.
having him on, and that's funny. Brandon as well.
Yes.
Small.
Well, his wife
small
Thea used to work with me at my day job.
That is awesome. She's such a nice person.
I know. I love her. She did my hair. So I went to this Jane Austen ball.
Yeah.
And so she did my hair for it. I made like all
That's
these
great.
costumes. Like I learned to sew so I could go to this Jane Austen ball, and I made like 4 Regency outfits.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's great. That's it. But isn't that amazing how between separation, 6 degrees of separation between everybody, you have some sort of connection, and that just here in Dover, that like we were talking about this the other day, that like somebody knows somebody, we all knew the same people, but this one person, we didn't know that person within the same circle of people, and it's such an odd dynamic when you have that happen. Like everybody knows them, and everybody in this other social circle knows them, but then you don't necessarily.
Right. Well, we were talking about
it's
that
just like,
because
how does that happen?
because
It's
I
an
said
anomaly.
I went to Summersworth. You're like, oh, do you know so and so? Do you know so and so? I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I know who they are. They wouldn't know me, but I
Yeah.
know who they are.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, did you go to Dover too? Oh,
For a short amount of time.
short amount of time.
Dover and then
High
Rochester.
school, all right, so freshman year, and it was what year? I was class of 2004.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was class of 2004, but Summersworth.
Oh, okay.
Summersworth.
Yeah, Summersworth.
And I
Wah,
eventually
wah.
ended up going to Spalding, and
Oh, I bet you know John Bonner. You know John?
name sounds familiar.
He was
But it's
tall
so
guy.
long.
But he was like one of those people who had a very big presence. So if you saw him, you would know him. I used to work with him at Domino's, and I miss
So,
him.
You know what it is? He's probably one of those guys. It's like I know by face.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm bad with names, you know, or I'm good with names and I'm bad with, you know.
I'm my
face.
husband's Rolodex. That's what he
That's
calls
awesome.
me.
That's
You ever watch
that's an awesome skill to have.
You ever watch oh God, what is it called? The Devil Wears Prada.
No.
The one with Glenn Close,
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep.
I mean, close
never seen
enough.
it. I want to check it out though.
That's just a joke that a friend of mine isn't.
I mean, I get them confused all the time.
no, I know, but I shouldn't. It's just they're not the same.
No, they're not the same person. Not whatsoever.
And how he has that joke, Devin.
Oh, Devin. What did he say?
Glenn Close and Meryl Streep being the same person.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, I never seen that movie, so
I don't know. I
Well-
don't think it has
No
anything to do
references.
with that movie specifically.
No.
I know Devin, and I don't know. You know, I mean,
So,
but yeah.
it's nice.
oh yeah,
We'll
so
discuss it later.
Yeah.
so in The Devil Wears Prada, Meryl Streep hires Anne Hathaway as her like assistant. So Emily Blunt and Anne Hathaway are her assistants.
Yes.
And-
I remember this very specifically.
Yes, and so she takes them to this like gala, and they have this book of people they have to memorize who they are, who their spouse is, like what they do. And so whenever this person approaches Meryl Streep, she leans into them and they whisper who it is that's approaching, so she doesn't look like she doesn't know them. That's what I do for my husband.
Oh, sorry. That's you know, it's funny because I used to have people do that when I worked for Samsung. That would happen to me all the time.
Well, we were like big into like the Subaru community, like back, you know, like 10 years ago, you know.
Yeah.
And we were on like the forums. So this is like, you know, pre-Facebook groups and when we were on online forums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, okay, so this is their name and this is their username. And he'd be like, okay. And he'd be like, what was their name again? I'd be like, it's this, and this is their username. And this is what car they drive. And now, so his way of telling time is based on what car he was driving at the time. Like,
Yeah.
this is how much of car people we are. So he'll be like, oh, yeah, like, oh, at that time, I was driving my WRX. You know, like, that's how he tells time.
I get it. So historically,
Historically, yes.
historically, he's like, oh, that during that time I was using, you know,
The WRX. So that's
X-car,
that's what year this was.
the WRX, the span of the.
Yes,
yeah,
of however
yeah.
long he owned that
He's
car.
measuring time based on cars, not on actual like time and space like the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly. He's like,
Hey,
okay, so
I
it was the
understand
year.
pal.
It was the year 2003.
If you're listening, and I hope you do, I completely understand where you're coming from.
You know what? I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this out there and see if he actually listens to the whole thing,
Yeah.
because I don't think he's going to.
It's a long episode, to be fair.
It
We're doing an hour and a half, which is going on close to probably an hour and 45 minutes now, I think.
Close to the wild.
Closer to that.
What's your longest
but-
episode?
2 hours and 10 minutes.
Okay, I don't want to go that long.
We're not gonna go to that episode.
Some of us have to go to bed.
Yeah. I have to get a little guy up in the morning.
Oh yeah, because
first day of school. Yeah, very excited.
Well, this is
so-
pre-recorded, so first day of school's already happened in the world of podcasting.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna pretend to rewind.
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
now we're going back. We're like, okay, he's been in school for 3 days now, or however long.
Yeah, right. Except for there's a slight delay there, but I'm actually gonna try to release some of the buffer because we have a buffer of a couple episodes. And,
Buffer.
That keeps us...
A fluffer?
Yeah, a fluffer. It keeps us afloat. Oh, please don't.
I wish you could actually see this.
Yeah. I know. That's why we're going to get it eventually.
No, that made me feel nervous.
Oh, come on. You
gonna
perform
watch you
live
in your
with a
home.
band.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He hasn't done that for a while.
Yeah, that's wild.
And even then, he wasn't a big fan of doing that on stage either. Got to be truthful. He'd tuck to the side sometimes. There used to be times where on stage, and other times where he's just like, oh yeah, we're kicking ass. And I'm in it. I'm into it. And he's just like...
And then there are days when he's like, I'm going to turn my back and play.
Nope, that's exactly right. Not to the back, but to the side.
To the side. Just a little side.
Side jams. We
Side
just call them
jams?
side jams. It made more room on the space on the stage, and I'm a big guy. It was just side jams because I was a fat guy. That's all it was.
Side jams.
I helped you out, buddy. Don't worry about it. That's what friends
So
are
you come
for.
on the stage with just peanut
Side
butter
jam.
here, side jam.
Like it's like
Peanut butter and mayonnaise.
He's so fat.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh god.
I'm gonna go like
We're
this.
circling back now. Shit, we're repeating
happening.
ourselves.
The episode has come full circle.
We're going back in
Hope that
time
sounds
to the
creepy.
first minutes.
That's okay. We're good. We're good.
It's
we are
nice.
so much better now. So we've just got a couple of minutes left to discuss. I think that it's important that we readdress the skepticism thing that we didn't get to go into.
Yes, we didn't get to go into that
because we went on a tangent, but that's
Yeah.
why we're called abstract transmissions. It's
fuck yeah.
kind of what we do. That's what our dynamic of our episode is. And if you don't like it, eat a fucking boot.
Like a stanky boot. Like an old leathery, not leather, but like a pleather. Like, look at these. My shoes.
Don't
You know what that makes me think
they
of?
can't.
Tenchi.
Justin, they can't.
What's that?
The Tenchi, like, I don't well,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
an anime thing where he's like the ending song, the ending credits are like, you find a boot or some other trash. Like those are the lyrics.
Yeah, that's true.
The boot trashed on fire.
It's ridiculous. I was thinking about that about anime in general, though, as I think all the songs are just really Full Metal Alchemist. Each one of those songs are
Remember
Weird.
by translation.
Fooly Cooly? You remember? Fooly
Fooly Cooly.
Oh my god, I love Fooly Cooly.
Okay.
So good.
Did you watch the new one?
The new one?
Yeah, you didn't know there was
So,
the season 2?
Am I okay to
Jesus.
not have my kid watch that? Right?
Yeah, you probably. I don't know.
Oh, have you seen all of Fooly Cooly?
Yeah, all of what I remember. Of
That's
Fooly
an
Coo- for
Allie
the
show
first,
that I'm like, whoa.
the first
She's
2 seasons, I think. Right? Is that what it is? Or
There's
the first
only
season?
one season.
Okay, so that's what.
Yeah.
Whatever she showed me, whatever that first season thing was there.
What the hell?
That's what. It's one. It's
And
one
there's a
run.
There's a new.
It's one with the guitar
Oh,
and the
man.
moped and the.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
The
I don't
Rickenbacker.
want my kid
Rickenbacker
watching that
bass.
show. I don't want my 8-year-old watching that
You
show.
might.
Yeah, I
Probably
wouldn't.
not.
It's not appropriate.
I would
Right?
maybe hold off a little bit. Although when I was like 10, my mother had me reading V.C. Andrews, which I don't know if
That's not fucking appropriate.
No!
It's
I
holy
don't know
shit.
what that
you
is.
know. Oops, sorry. She had read them before. She's like, here. She gave them to me. She's
It's
like,
like
here,
letting
read
my
this.
kid read it at the age of 10, and
I'm
like
like-
having
and
that
so I'm
like
reading it.
10-year-old gangbang in
And
that
I'm like-
book, and it's like no,
I'm like,
it's not appropriate.
this is incest. Like, I didn't know what incest was, and I learned what incest was.
Oh.
And I'm like,
I
my
learned
mother gave
through
it to
a
me.
V.C. Andrews book.
Followed by a Freud
Thanks,
book.
Ma.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but that was just my mom. Like to her, like, she's like, oh, these are just some really good books to read. Like, I think you'll like them. And then I was like, Mom, like years later, I'm like, Mom, you do realize, like, you gave me these books when I was 10. She's like, oh, yeah, I did, didn't I? And I was like, well, it didn't do me any harm. And then you listen to my podcast and you think maybe it did.
Yeah.
It expands the imagination.
Hey, you gotta have the variety.
Yeah.
Gives you the good stuff.
Oh man, we already went off on.
Versatility.
We already went off on another tangent. We didn't talk about.
Paranormal.
You wanted to talk about skepticism. Let's go back to that. We're rewinding again.
To this skepticism discussion, I think that I was a much more skeptical person up until recently, for just reasons I'm not going to go completely into. But I think that there's some things that are definitely changing in the world, that it's changing the entire fundamental understanding of what we know of human existence.
Yeah.
I agree.
From a scientific and religious standpoint. Religions are being shaken, science is being shaken, the whole world's being shaken, and there's some major changes happening, and I think the ability to be a skeptic is a healthy way to look at all of it.
I agree.
You start from a healthy skeptical point of view and take your opinion from there. You can't just assume that it's definitely UFOs visiting us. At the same time, the proof is in the pudding. We've seen what's going on.
You know, on Fox News.
On Fox News. Yeah, Fox News and CNN, the right and left wing media outlets.
I know.
Yikes,
God.
gotta love that.
But see,
Reliable,
that's where-
consistent, unbiased
Carl.
news.
Tuckers
Tuckerson
and
Carl. Tuckerson Carl. Oh, God, that sounds...
And what you don't see here are the hand
coming back
movements.
from that. I'm still coming back from that. Okay.
So my thought
Give a peace
process.
sign.
My thought process on like science in general is that I don't know shit. So I just so I do come from a point of skepticism from the fact that I don't know a lot about the subject in general. So I'm not just going to be like, "Oh yeah, I believe everything," or I'm not going to say, "Oh yeah, I know everything," or I'm not going to pretend to know something that I don't actually know.
Yeah.
And like if something interests me enough,
That's his standpoint, too.
oh yeah,
Continue.
if something interests me enough, I'll look into it more. But it's like I try to look at, you know, when I see like a Facebook argument, I'll try to like look at everything that everyone is saying and just kind of like there's a little bit of truth in each point of view. So I try to like find that happy medium between the two of them and see, you know, what I can kind of glean from it. But as far as science goes, I don't know a whole ton, but I do know that things are changing, and I feel like people need to change with it, and they're not.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. I think that unfortunately though, and I think that this is the only, you know, thing politically that I guess I'll go is that like I feel like Andrew Yang's kind of right, and I said this before, is that we're too late. We should have done this 10 years ago.
Oh fuck yeah.
And we're really gonna pay the price because of it now, because we're too far. And anything we do now to combat it is just not going to be quick enough and fast enough. And ultimately, unless everyone becomes vegetarian tomorrow, like vegan tomorrow, like that's not going to happen.
I don't have enough research on the distance of how we fucked up and what we have to do. And
basically, they're just saying that.
Or continue with.
Oh no! But, if everybody were to just go vegan,
I don't have enough.
Like enough context, or
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
context, not research.
Yeah, no, the data's out there. I don't have it to present to you guys, but basically it's stating that if and the problem is a lot of these Amazon fires or whatever are being, you know, produced to provide more land for more farming agriculture, and that's how they were started, according to some pretty.
Amazon has been on fire lately.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude. That's wild.
So
you're talking to Amazon, Amazon.com. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
a fucking just twat.
Yeah, that was great.
Sorry.
I thought you were making a joke.
Hopefully
and
everybody.
then it went over my head, and then I was like, wait a minute.
It was a joke.
And the thing is, all I did is lean back a little. Everybody got it. Jesus.
So
Do that at work. Promote me. Fucking a manager now. Jesus.
So, I would like to know more about these Amazon fires in general, because like once I started seeing like all the stuff on Facebook and like all the people are like the Amazon's on fire, like people aren't doing enough about it, blah blah blah,
It's being
and then
caused by the governments.
and then I wanted to know like
How it happened.
like how it happened, and is it as detrimental as people are making it out to be, or is there a
Same.
reason to do it? Because like in California, most of those wildfires, from what I gather, and I could be very, very wrong, but from what I gather, a lot of those wildfires start because they don't do controlled burning. And so that's why these wildfires get so big, because they're not controlling that environment.
Makes a lot of fucking sense.
And so
That was Trump's argument, actually, is he was saying there's like, and everybody took it out of context too. Is that not that I'm a Trump supporter, but I think everybody was like, oh well, he means that, well, that's stupid. It's like, no, he was just saying that they didn't do a great job planning for these controlled burns, and that's why a lot of these wildfires are way more out of hand. Now, that's not saying that there's not a climate impact there. There definitely is.
right, there's
which
more
is-
to it than just the generalization that I've
for
made.
sure.
But
Sure.
but there is
Absolutely.
science behind the fact that controlled fires help stop giant wildfires.
Fires,
For
right?
And
sure.
the thing is, like, you know, people in
Planning ahead.
and people get worried, like they're like, oh, what about the wildlife? Well, guess what? If there's a fire, the fucking wildlife that are able to leave
They're gonna
will
die
leave.
anyway.
Oh, they piece the fuck out.
They will, and the ones who can't will die. But guess what? That's natural selection. And again, we're going back to that. And you know what? That's okay. It's okay.
It sucks, but it's a reality.
It is a reality.
Nature
You
is not
can't-
forgiving.
It's not. You can't
Very neutral.
stop these things from happening. But it's like, if you don't, it sucks. Like, you killed a few bunnies that maybe couldn't walk or couldn't run, you know, as quickly to get away from the
But
fire.
what about my rabbit's foot? It's lucky. No, I'm just.
But right, I'll tell you a story about that after. So, but the bigger picture is that you kill a couple of these little animals, or you can kill, you know, acres of animals. So, and then those are the healthy ones who are perishing, along with the ones who maybe can't.
Yeah.
And so that to me says that's why I wanted to know, are these Amazon fires as serious as people are making it out to be, or is this some sort of political stunt that either A, they're trying to hide something else, or B, that they're trying to make it out to be worse than it is to, you know, push some sort of political agenda,
Some sort of agenda,
that maybe
yeah.
we don't understand.
Yeah, that's
That's what I want to know.
scary.
And I can't really find anything that says one way or the other, like, what's happening.
Yeah.
I think Mark's asleep.
You awake, bud?
Yeah, no, I'm just.
Are you meditating on this?
He was looking at the keyboard, I think, a little bit. I think he was looking at the
No,
mice.
I was thinking about something
The mouse,
that
the
was just
mice.
kind of upsetting about the Amazon thing that kind of bothered me about the animals, like the charred like remains, just like thousands of them, and just
Right. And the thing is that could that have been prevented, or is this, you know, what's happening here? Like, you know, I don't want to see the Amazon and the rainforest perishing, because
No
it's so
fucking way.
vital.
It very is,
It's-
is vital.
it's in the whole, you know, discussion about bees and all that stuff too. But so now the discussion is this being caused by their government? Was this a reaction to the fact that the local indigenous tribes have sued them for $1 billion? Is this a reaction to the fact that they need to expand for agriculture in the world? You know, methane's causing a loop of these problems. Whether it's going to solve an issue in the Amazon, and eliminating methane entirely could save the planet theoretically. theoretically.
So, can you explain the whole methane? Because I don't know exactly
know
what you're
either.
referring to, and I'd like to.
Methane is a really
Methane is methane.
bad greenhouse gas in the aspect that it catalyzes the. It's helped catalyzing the increase in which climate change is happening. So right now it's happening pretty fast, but the problem is that as time goes on and we have more and more cattle and there's more and more farm agro industries, there's a lot of methane released from these animals because of, well, them being animals.
Yeah.
And it's just a natural process. But then also they're killed and slaughtered, and there's that whole aspect of rotting carcasses around pig farms and all this stuff. Methane, crazy amounts from some of that stuff. It's something to look into.
So,
but the big thing here, I guess,
Yeah.
I was getting at was with the methane was, geez, where was I going with that? Damn it.
well, my question on this before you keep going
Yeah,
is are you saying that if the Amazon is expanding for agriculture, that's going to contribute to the methane problem, and that the fact that the rainforest is, there's not enough rainforest, that's what was combating the methane?
I could be speaking out of my ass here when I say this, but I think that's what they were trying to do, is just kind of like expand a lot of the area. But I think it's just one facet of the problem, is that it's going to impact it from that. It's going to exacerbate. But also the fires have been really just detrimental as hell.
Oh, absolutely.
To the
It's pretty
entire,
brutal. Definitely.
the CO2 release, obviously, and the decrease of forests and the forests that are very, very necessary. These produce so much of the world for the oxygen.
Yeah.
So much oxygen for the world. The thing that I'm really concerned about is the Arctic fires that are happening. Not so much the Amazon, it's the Arctic.
I didn't even know the Arctic was
So
burning.
the Arctic's been on fire for even longer, and the problem with the Arctic
Is that the
fires,
methane you were talking about?
yeah, that was the peat bog fires that are. It's not even fucking, forests that are on fire. It's like they're igniting it's igniting peat bog, which is then in turn igniting lower forms of peat bog, which is igniting decomposed peat bog, which releases all of this
Oh, God.
methane, which then burns hotter. So then it starts burning lower, and it gets into the permafrost. And when the permafrost starts to burn and melt, it just becomes this catalyzed action. And that's just really bad. Permafrost melting was bad, but now catalyzed permafrost that's burning, that's increasing the rapidity of that. What they're seeing now in the melting in Greenland is what they expected to be in 2078. And it's just really bad news.
Why, how did these Arctic fires start? Did people just go there and start them for a reason?
No. I mean, sometimes it's just natural,
Okay, so
lightning
this just...
strike, or somebody, put out a campfire incorrectly, and I believe that's how a lot of those start. But then when it does spread, it's uncontrollable, and when it gets out of hand, like it did in California or something, the difference in the Arctic is that now it's impacting these, not peat bog, but I think these methane. It's like peat bog in that way. These bogs of area that were now thawing are now, there's still permafrost and stuff that's just now being burned away and melted, and just this whole friggin' thing is just awful. And unfortunately, the downside of this is the rapidity in which climate change. This is the thing where naysayers, and again, not to get political, but this is where people can think it's a luxury for human beings in this country to be like, oh, well, I don't get political. But yeah, but that's a luxury because we live in this country and you don't have to. In other countries, put a gun against your head if you're not political.
Right.
And it's like in this country, it's like we're discussing climate change, but this one facet is that the people who don't believe about climate change, it's not happening, is that
so tough. It's so tough. Like
they're
with the
saying that
misinformation and the information, the actual stuff. It's just so fucking brutal.
But
It's like,
yeah,
what
but
the fuck do you
but
believe?
there's no misinformation when it comes to scientific data.
Scientific, but just depends on where it's coming from.
Yeah. It is and it isn't.
Fucking-
There's things called double-blind science, which is done without being impacted by bias.
That's just a part of me that thinks that I'm a fucking paranoid bastard.
Yeah, you just pay.
That's
Yeah, well,
just-
that's an
I'm like-
understandable thing. Well, so here's
Maybe somebody knows at the
And
top more information.
here would
but
be
I'm
the
like, I gotta
here would be
shut
the
that
argument
up.
that the sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, but the naysayers about global warming, they're saying that it's not happening, or that these are natural cycles that we've always done, and they are right, and to an extent. But what's happening right now is faster than it's ever happened, and it's being increased even more so.
Right.
It's on it's not like this up and down thing that was going for long. Now it's on a steady up, and it is it's out of hand. And the thing is like, I used to be on the other end of this argument too, believe it or not, back in 2008, with Michael Crichton's argument about it. But if Michael Crichton was still alive,
You think he'd be flipping? and-
absolutely, I would be. I 100% passionately as a Crichton fan, and you know, he was a man of science. The data would be all he would look at, and you'd see the numbers as it's expanded. Now, he trashed on Al Gore all the time because of his documentaries there, or the direction that he was going with the documentaries there, and that's not what I think people don't want false or bloated science, you know.
No, I know I don't,
They
and
want
that's
that.
fuck
that's
that.
the
They want-
problem that
they
I
want accurate
have.
science.
It's garbage.
That's the problem that I have. What do they call it? Junk science?
Junk science.
Yeah, I
Sensational science.
Yeah.
Sensationalist.
and that's the problem that I have with like politics and science in general is that
Yeah, same here.
I don't understand enough of it to form an educated opinion on it. So I do rely on people who are educated to give me the information, but I don't know who to fucking trust.
98% of the world's scientists.
The thing is like, you know, I don't
98%.
I don't really
of
like
the world's scientists.
with politics and everything.
That's it.
Like, it's one of those things I look
When it
at
comes
it,
to
I
climate change, at
learn a
least.
little bit, and I look at scientists, and I just do more research and just try to get a fucking sense of it. You know, like, I feel like I've done enough where I should be a fucking, you know, Democrat or a fucking Republican or Libertarian or fucking, you know, and I'm still trying to figure it out.
Independent.
Like,
You're an
it just
independent.
fucking,
Undeclared independent.
I register as independent.
There you go.
yeah.
Undeclared independent.
sure.
There you go. You don't know what you are. You don't have to say you're an
No.
Maybe it's I learned a lot, but I'm trying to still wrap my fucking head around it. Maybe I'm just not that smart. That could be that.
I know I'm not that smart. I know I'm not that smart. And
Same.
you know what?
Same.
I don't.
Recognizing that you're not that smart is important.
I am not going to. I don't know. I'm not going to like form an educated opinion on climate change in general
I can't when
because
it's
I don't
so fucking
know.
confusing.
But I can agree that yes, like there is a problem
Bad.
and it's definitely happening.
Yeah.
And I can see that much, but
Oh, it's apparent. And I mean, the things were like weather doesn't causes
So
a
many
correlation,
variables.
right?
So
Hmm.
many.
Well,
I
no,
don't understand the variables.
the argument.
Yeah.
The argument that can be said there is that cause isn't correlation, right? Is that cause doesn't just the weather isn't climate change. Just because there's a hurricane this year doesn't mean that
Right.
just because there's a bad one doesn't mean that that's climate change. But what does indicate that there's some crazy stuff happening
Is the frequency?
Is the frequencies and the changes and the intense the intensity of these things. So I think frequencies are important, and that's on that note, frequencies to all you fine folks have been fine and dandy, and unfortunately we haven't been able to continue the rest of this conversation because we're getting.
I feel like we should maybe do another episode.
Yes,
I think we could absolutely do another episode. Part 2.
I think we have like so much more to talk about.
Yes, absolutely. But it was fun talking about all of this that we've talked about so far. It's a lot of good dialogue in experience, personal experience, and I think that's what we're trying to get out of this podcast is real conversations with real people.
Having a good time with good people.
Drinking a little whiskey, having a little chat.
Yeah.
Little sex on the beach.
Yeah, absolutely.
And getting good perspectives.
Yeah.
Nobody's shouting their political perspectives, and that's the thing that I think is. We've said this so many times. I'm a broken record on the show. I'm a broken record in general. But the thing that, and I'll explain this to you because I didn't really get to, is that. There's so many people on Facebook and media and all this stuff that's just rah talking heads, the left, the right, and it's just fighting back and forth, and it's just awfulness. And unfortunately, I don't feel like the solution is in one direction, left or right.
No, hell no.
It's just like I'm just
gotta be pretty neutral and nice.
That's why I'm. I think that this bickering and on Facebook and social media has become the detriment to us, and we're not doing it in person anymore either. We're doing it online, and that's the real problem. That's the real reason I'm here doing this. Is we're having conversations in person. I don't want to do it over the phone. To all you potential, political guys, I don't want to do it over the phone. I want you to be here. I want to talk to you in person. I can see a political inflection. We've had a
come in and talk about
guests.
Boots.
They're like, we could satellite Skype, yeah. It's like that's not gonna work.
Mittens.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Next time we will do a political discussion.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. We can go. Well, that's good.
We're going to we'll pre-warn people this is going to be about politics.
Yeah.
Yes.
For those of you out there,
can it be about politics and licorice?
He doesn't. He's not a politics guy. And we do have politics discussion. We have politicians all the time, but. Not all the time, but that's gonna be.
But it's I feel like you would enjoy that political discussion because I feel like you and I are gonna be very aligned.
Yeah.
In what we believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think you'll like it.
Yeah, I think I'm vibing on that.
Yeah.
I think that sounds great, and for all you folks out there listening, we really appreciate your support. Just we also now have a Patreon available. So if you really like what we're doing and you can provide us any type of support, we really appreciate it. It's patreon.com/abstract transmissions. And again, thank you guys again for your time and your listening. And
yes. And if you want to listen to my podcast, you can go to www.chrispodcast.com. And also, if you want to check out my voiceover, www.jessicarainville.com.
And you better.
Twitter.
I have a Twitter, but I don't really
It's not a professional. It's a personal.
I mean, it is, but it isn't. I don't really use it that much. But I do have all my social media linked on my jessicarainville.com page.
Perfect. So they can find it.
My Facebook page for Chris Podcast is on my chrispodcast.com.
Good. I'm glad
So.
that you get to say that, because you were able to put that and articulate it a lot better than I would have been able to, as well as our ad earlier. Bravo, that was awesome.
that was
I
total
really appreciate
freestyle.
that. I can't wait to show Pilot and the boys over there at Content 19 for that. That was really great. Thank you again for coming on the episode. It was a great show, and we look forward to doing this again.
Awesome. Thanks so much,
Yes.
guys.
Thanks, and you listeners out there, we
Anytime,
will see you
anytime.
soon. Abstract here, abstract there.